In this video, we're going to be talking about a book called What Every Pianist Needs to Know About the Body. Before we get into the video, I really recommend checking out the book. It's a really great one, and I won't be covering every single thing said in the book. I'm just going to summarize the chapters. So let's get into it. So before, I've talked about how our arms play no weight-bearing role, and it's free to function primarily as manipulating structures. The shoulder blade and collarbone of our arm do not connect to the ribs. The arm structure attaches to the rest of the skeleton to only one place, and we have talked about this before. It's the sternal-clavicular joint. Our collarbone is attached to the shoulder blade by a joint and by a really strong ligament that actually prevents the shoulder blade and collarbone moving relative to each other. So when one moves, the other moves as well. And the movement of the collarbone and shoulder blade occurs at the sternal-clavicular joint. That is the origin. In piano playing, the movements of the collarbone and shoulder blade are really small, but absolutely vital for free playing. Most of the pianists think that their arm actually ends at the shoulder joint, but no, that is their body map include a shoulder-arm split, according to which the shoulder is part of the body and the arm is a separate part from the body. The consequence of this is the fixing of the shoulder blade and collarbone, and the rest of the arms must work hard to move. So what's going on here is that the shoulder blade and collarbone is inhibiting the movement of the arm structure when we are fixing those parts, and it could also lead to back, shoulder, or neck pain. The sense that the whole arm structure, all four major joints, is the structure that is moving to permit ease in playing brings about a better distribution of movement. Thinking of one part of the body as a fixed place from which to move another part of the body is always going to generate tension. The only fixed place from which we move from is the bench. The support from the bench and the floor through our core support permits us to move with ease without fixing any part of our body. You can try out a practical exercise to see that all four major joints is going to participate when we move our hands up and down. So what you can do is raise your arms from the side 45 degrees, and notice that if you continue to raise it higher, the collarbone and the shoulder blade will naturally tend to participate in the movement. This is called humos-scapular rhythm. It feels good and it is good for you. The absence of this rhythm is the common source of injury. What we spoke of before as called fixing of the shoulder blade and collarbone is harmful because it inhibits the humero-scapular rhythm, which occurs automatically in pianists who has a good body map. Now we're going to talk about the sternoclavicular joint. So what this joint does is that it connects the breastbone to the collarbone. It is the joint where the arm structure connects to the rest of the skeleton. This joint permits the collarbone to move up, down, forward, back, and it can also rotate. People who have the habit of fixing their joints may think that not much motion is possible at this part, but let your collarbone move up as far up and down and forward and back as possible, while also keeping the other hand on the sternoclavicular joint, and just observe those movements, and then you may feel that those movements are not tiny. But when we are playing the piano, we do not normally use large motions at this joint. Although hand crossing is an exception, but small movements occur constantly. The place of rest of the sternoclavicular joint should be the place from which motion in any direction is easy. In equilibrium, the shoulder joints are aligned in the same vertical plane as the other places of balance, and the joints face straight out to the side just like another pair of ears. All too often, however, the shoulder blade and collarbone do not automatically go to the place of equilibrium because many people have a habit of fixing or pulling down their shoulders. If you have numbness while playing, you're putting pressure on those nerves. So what you have to do is ease your neck, release your torso, front and back around your core, and let the arm structure suspend above those nerves, and that numbness will disappear. Pulling down on the shoulder blade and collarbone can put pressure on those nerves that supply the arm structure. The habit of pulling the collarbone or shoulder blade up and back or down and back can produce back and shoulder pain. We've talked about lengthening and gathering of the spine before, so here the lengthening and gathering of the spine must be available in order to have perfect suspension of the arms. To know the place of equilibrium, what you can do is raise your shoulder blade and collarbone as high as you can and then hold them there for a moment. Attend to the muscles that you use to do that, and then you can slowly and gradually release those muscles and then feel your collarbone and shoulder blade slowly descending. And the point where the muscles reach a point of no work is where you stop. That is the equilibrium. You can do this forward and backward as well. When you do this like several times a day, your shoulder blade and collarbone will gradually learn to rest in the place of equilibrium.